Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is for you as you are watching this. For me, it is early, 7:45 a.m., y'all. Okay, so I got this news story. I'm going to give it to you real quick. I can't wait for people to come in. As you do enter, though, please hit that like button. If you're watching on replay, don't forget to hit that like button. It does help the video get out to more people, and definitely more people need to know that they should be stocking up for the winter, and they also should be stocking up just in case this looming strike actually goes through come January. That's why it's back in the news, y'all. It is back in the news. So it says 5 U.S. seafood ports to be hit hardest by a new strike threat. The looming strike, which is not over as earlier suggested, which I told y'all that it wasn't over. They just went back to work while they were still in works to negotiate, and they have until January 15th to decide if they're going to go through with everything that the workers are asking for. So 1.8 million metric tons of seafood imports worth 14.7 billion annually are at stake right now. They say it's deja vu for seafood importers. Port strikes are again being threatened on the U.S. East Coast as negotiations have broken down between the U.S. Maritime Alliance and the International Longshoremen's Association, ILA for short. So when I say ILA, that's what I'm talking about. Over automation concerns. The situation threatens ports in at least a dozen customs districts that accounted for a combined 1.8 million metric tons of seafood worth 14.7 billion in 2023, based on data maintained by National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. That's at least 59% of overall 3.1 million metric tons of seafood and 57% of overall 25.8 billion worth of seafood imported last year. Among the customs district impacted, okay, so this is a long list of ports that are going to be affected. So New York, Miami, Florida, Boston, Massachusetts, Savannah, Georgia, Norfolk, Virginia, Houston, Galveston, Texas, Baltimore, Maryland, Tampa, Florida, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, New Orleans, Louisiana, Charleston, South Carolina, and Mobile, Alabama. So that's it for that article. They just want to let you know that 5 U.S. seafood ports to be hit hardest by the new strike. And I have more news concerning that as well. Where's the one where the ship is stuck? Hold on, let me see if I can find it. There we go. I hope y'all are having a blessed morning. So Boker remains stuck on St. Lawrence after grounding 2 days ago. Now, this is not going, I don't think this will affect the U.S., but it definitely will affect my cousins in Canada. Although it is not blocking any ships, it is still has a load of, I believe, wheat or something on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this one. I'll just skim it. The St. Lawrence Seaway and Canada's Algoma Central are working on a plan to refloat a bulker that has remained stuck on the St. Lawrence River for the past 2 days. The bulker grounded midday on Saturday, November 23rd, but is outside the shipping channel, so vessels have been able to still get their ships through, and they were able to complete last week of the 2024 season because they're ready to shut down. The bulker loaded a cargo of Canadian wheat at Port Weller on Lake Ontario, just above Welland, and one of the critical locks on the waterway. The vessel had departed on Friday and was making its way along the St. Lawrence River, and I guess it had some kind of issues that caused it to go off course and is now pretty much docked up. So they issued a statement that there were no injuries to the crew and no reports of pollution water in ingress, that they said that the vessel was in a stable condition, and they're working on a plan to finalize to refloat the bulker. Residents are rushing to see the grounded vessel. It's become a tourist attraction at this point. But they say that's not the first time that a vessel has gone aground in that area. In August, a Dutch cargo ship lost power in another section of the waterway and blocked traffic, similar to what happened in Baltimore, which I have an update on that as well. What's going on at that port? So that unfortunately may mess with Canada's wheat supply. Let's see, where is the... Okay, I already did that one. Let's go to this one here. The American Apparel and Footwear Association has urged President Joe Biden to significantly expand efforts to guard Red Sea shipping. They're still attacking ships, you guys. That's why it is important to definitely keep stocking up. Just do a little at a time. It'll all build up. But we don't know if one of our ships will be the next ship that is being attacked. So, and that's from the Houthi rebel attacks, while also calling on International Longshoremen's Association and U.S. Maritime Alliance to resume negotiations on a labor deal ahead of an impending January 15th deadline to avert a strike east and Gulf Coast ports. So if they don't get that situation taken care of, we're going to be dealing with the strike again. November 19th mark the year since Houthi rebels, wow, it's been a year, attacked the British-owned Galaxy Leader cargo ship as it moved through the Red Sea, seizing its crew members who remain hostage to this day. That's insane. Since then, Houthis have targeted more than 90 vessels moving through the crucial shipping channel, sinking 2 and killing 4. That's forced ocean carriers to reroute their vessels around South Africa's Cape of Good Hope. I've told y'all about that before. U.S. businesses, workers, and consumers are also bearing the brunt of those consequences of having to reroute for the past year to try to keep from going through there so that things can be on the shelves. They say that the rising costs from rerouting vessels are unsustainable, and the impact on American industries is severe. American consumers and businesses cannot afford further delays or disruptions, meaning this inflation is going to get even worse until that is taken care of. So talks between ILA, the Longshoremen's Association, and USMX stalled out in mid-November as the two parties remain in a standoff over the future of automation at U.S. ports. The ILA went on strike for 3 days at the start of October, but reached a temporary, keyword, temporary agreement. And I think people don't realize that, who don't follow the news like that. They think, oh, it's over. No, that was a temporary agreement with the USMX on wage increases, which extended the deadline for a new contract to January 15th, 2025. Happy New Year. We're going to be dealing with this again. If that deadline passes without a deal and port workers go on strike, it would add a risk of delays during the Chinese Lunar New Year in February, because they slow things down. So exacerbating the slowdown in supplies that occurs when many factories in China, where we get the bulk of our goods from, are shut down for celebrations. In a petition to the ILA and USMX, the AAFA, every letter in the alphabet, which represents more than 1,000 U.S. retailers and manufacturers, urged the two sides to start negotiations in order to avoid a prolonged work stoppage that would only serve to complicate an already challenging global supply chain environment. So for people that's in my comments saying, ain't nothing going on, you just spreading fear, keep that same mindset when if this does happen and they don't make a deal, keep that same mindset. And I hope that you prepared, even though you said that. So that's what's happening with the U.S. ports. And let's see an update on the port in Maryland. Here we go. I hope y'all can see this stuff, because I didn't even check to see if y'all can see it. Okay. So they're saying that business is almost back to normal at that Port of Baltimore. Businesses at Port of Baltimore is nearly back to normal 8 months after the Key Bridge collapse, but a looming issue could threaten to disrupt port traffic again. So let's go ahead and play this video, because I didn't watch it, so I don't know what they're going to say.
The port administrator says things are getting back to normal here at the Port of Baltimore ahead of schedule, but a potential strike could change that. 8 months after the Key Bridge collapse, and business at the Port of Baltimore is almost back to normal.
We're at about 90% where we were pre-incident on the amount of vessels that they're calling our docks, and we're a little bit more than 80% on containers that are moving through.
The increased ship traffic translates to increased work for port workers who were out of a job for 11 weeks while the port was closed for bridge cleanup. Then the members of the International Longshoremen's Association went on strike for 3 days last month over a contract dispute. They settled the issue of pay, sending them back to work, but they still haven't come to an agreement on the issue of automating machinery at the docks.
It's a hard thing to do to...
And then in addition to that,
to watch your jobs go away. So we're going to do everything we can to protect them. In the same breath, we know technology's coming, and we gotta embrace that, whether it be coming from different jobs that the technology produces. We got to make sure those jobs are union jobs.
The union has until January 15th to work out an agreement, or there could be another strike. The Port of Baltimore is not associated with those negotiations, but is already starting to see an impact.
We are aware that there are shippers and carriers that are moving cargo away from the East Coast and the Gulf Coast to take into consideration the possibility that there could be some type of action again in the middle of January.
Both the port and the union agree that another port shutdown, the third in a year, would be detrimental to business and port workers, and want to avoid it at all costs.
After a bridge collapse and a 3-day strike, for us, it's more impactful than other places. So it would be terrible, right? And then some of our cargo could go to other ports and on the different coast. So it could be long lasting, and it could be a long lasting impact, not a short term impact. So it's very concerning.
Scott Cowan says there has been some movement at the negotiation table, but could not elaborate any further. In Dundalk.
So that's what's happening in your news that hopefully you can use. Definitely stay prepared. I will start doing, I don't know if I'll start in December, but definitely pretty soon I'll start doing like one weekly video of maybe $20 a week being spent, because your girl on a budget, okay? Just to show you that you can get a little, and it does add up. So whenever I start, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it for 30 days, you know, once every week. That way you can see just how much you can actually stock up with $20 or $25 to try to keep it realistic with people's wallets right now. So I hope y'all look forward to seeing that, because I look forward to bringing that to you guys and getting back into more preparedness, as well as still showing you news you can use, and definitely welcoming you into Tommy's Homestead kitchen. So there will be cooking videos as well, because a lot of people are trying to learn how to cook. A lot of people have fear over cooking and baking, and I am one of them. Okay, no matter how much I do it, I'm always nervous when I do it, and it makes it even more nervous to show you guys. So the fact that I'm overcoming that fear, that's important to me, because fear can keep you stuck, you know, where you are, because you're just afraid to try something. So I'm not gonna talk too long. I gotta go. Gotta get my daughter to work. So y'all take care. Thank y'all for coming in. I see you in here, Butterfly and Martin, Teresa. Good morning, Judy. Good morning, Dolores, Teresa, Philistine. Hello, how are you? I don't think I've seen Philistine sign before. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. If you do hear, you should know I will butcher your name. It don't mean anything by it though. Hey, Miss Juliet, Calvin. Morning to Jackie, Sam, Tamika. Hey, Happy Mac. What's up? Miss Juliet. Well, you got a double shout out. I hope I didn't miss anybody. I'm going back down the timeline to make sure I did not, because I know it's early in the morning. You could have been somewhere else. Good morning, Cynthia and Sam. So y'all take care. Have a blessed day. The chicken recipe is coming out today. Okay. For those of you who asked in my comments of the me putting the tree up and making the chicken and dumplings. So the chicken recipe is coming up today, but I still will bring news stories. If something else pop up, I'll be back with another news story. So y'all take care now. Stay safe. Keep your head on a swivel. And it's Taco Tuesday, but I don't know if I'm going to make any tacos. If I do, I might do it as an egg roll or something like that. So, all right. Bye, y'all.